All right, good morning. It is 8:30 on Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, and this is the meeting of the Sandpoint Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation, and we are now called to order. For the record, I am Chairwoman Ellie Sussness, presiding in the council chambers in City Hall, 1123 Lake Street in Sandpoint, Idaho. The commission members who are absent today are Keely Gray, Caitlin Shook, Carol Diener, and Mike Lithgow is absent and he has resigned the commission. The members that are present are Barry Burgess, myself, of course, Kate McAllister, Rick Decker, William Valentine, and joining us today is Mayor Jeremy Grimm, our staff liaison, and Justin Dick, our council liaison. We will now proceed to the approval of the minutes from the commission's last meeting. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the April 8th, 2025 regular meeting. Do I hear that motion?
Sure.
Will has motioned to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Rick has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to the financial report. I have old numbers from last meeting. I can read them off unless, Mr. Mayor, do you happen to have the current SURA numbers?
I do not, I'm sorry.
All right, then I'll read off the ones from our last meeting. They wouldn't have changed very much. The Sandpoint Urban Renewal monies that we have in the downtown district are $208,749.64. In the northern district is $113,962.78. What we have allocated for the Silver Box project to date, advanced to date, is $18,315.22. And the remaining balance in our budget for the boxes this year is $1,684.68. Was there any questions on the SORA financials? All right, moving on then. We bumped up the commission business of historic preservation to the beginning of the meeting because we are going to talk about our certified local government grant, the CGL grant that we applied for. We did not receive the grant, but we have Alex Matrone here from the State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO for short. She is the coordinator preservation planner, and she's going to speak to things that we can do maybe to fund our historic preservation. Mr. Mayor, was there any comments you had about that before we introduced the speakers?
No, thanks so much, Ellie.
Okay. All right. Oh, and it looks like Dan's here too. Dan Everhart from SHPO as well. So go ahead, Alexis. Welcome. Thank you for being here at our meeting.
Oh. I don't think I could see the whole room, so just in case, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Alexis Matrone.
We're having trouble hearing you. Can you hold on for 1 second while we resolve our technical issues?
I don't know if it's our speaker or if it's on her end.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, like her mic might not be very good. Is it Alex? Alexis, could you get a little closer to your speaker and see if we can hear you better?
Can you guys hear?
It just keeps breaking up a little bit, like the reception's not great.
Dan, do you want to try?
Yeah, you're not clear. I don't know if I'm clear either, but Alexis, I can't hear you very well at all.
I can hear Dan better than I can hear Alexis.
Okay, Dan, if you want to start, I'll try to figure.
Oh, that's better. Whatever you just changed.
You can hear me?
Yep. Let's go. Let's move forward. Let's try it.
So I'll just introduce myself real quick. My name is Alexis Matrone. I work for the State Historic Preservation Office. I'm the certified local government coordinator and preservation planner. As you said, Sandpoint did apply for a FY 2025 CLG grant. And in a previous meeting, we had discussed needing a letter of support from the city because the grant application was to create design review guidelines for a local historic district in downtown Sandpoint. You already have some boundaries established. It is just not a local district, so there is no protection there. Unfortunately, the letter just came a little too late, so we had to move forward with our grant decisions before we had that letter. So today we kind of wanted to talk about some other ideas or how we can move forward, because we are very supportive of Sandpoint's efforts with this, and we do want to, do our part and keep this communication going so that we can help fund this in the future. Is my audio still good?
Yeah.
You're sounding good. Thank you.
Okay, so we were looking at some other financial efforts to maybe get this started sooner than waiting for the 2026 grant applications to open. But unfortunately, I don't think those are going to be available for the commission. But we were thinking that in the meantime, because the application for the 2026 is not going to open until November 1st, but that gives the city plenty of time to actually establish that ordinance for the local district. And it goes through city council and essentially we would hope be approved by the time we move forward with that grant application for those design guidelines. Is that something that the city or Mr. Mayor that you are still very supportive of moving forward?
100%. What's your funding source?
What was that?
Very supportive. I'm just wondering what funding source is.
So the funding source would be that 2026 grant, and that would be for those design guidelines. Where we were hoping by that time, the ordinance would already be put in place for that local district that would just overlay those already established boundaries of the downtown historic district.
Why-
Sometimes we see.
And the district, I don't know when the district will be completed and formed, but we'll move as quickly as we can on it.
Okay, so the grant application would open November 1st. You would have until January 31st to complete that application. We do already have that letter, but it would make a stronger grant application if the ordinance is already set in place or that overlay zone is already set. And we would be I can't just openly say that we would approve this grant, but I can say that our office is very supportive of grant applications for, the actual protection of historic resources. So you would have really until January 31st or about a month after to have that zone already established.
Okay. Great. That's great information on the grant cycle. Is there any questions from the commissioners on that to Alexis or Dan?
Who's writing the grants?
That's a great question.
Did you ask who's writing the grants?
No, I was asking our chairperson, thank you.
Alexis, internally, who would be, Mr. Mayor, maybe, who would be writing? the grant?
Each department is responsible for opportunities for grant funding. So if there is a opportunity available, it would flow through the most pertinent department. In this case, it would probably be planning and community development.
All right.
And I just had, Alexis, your funding for this grant comes from where?
It does come from the National Park Service.
And do you know at this point, you are expecting your funding to be flat or maintained from the feds?
I am going to let Dan take over with that question.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone, and Mr. Mayor, thank you for your question. There's a good reason why you're asking that question. And so I'll just address it head on. The president's current proposed budget for FY 2026 zeroes out the funding source, not just for these grants that we would pass through to our local partners, but for, in fact, our entire office. So the Idaho State Historic Preservation Office relies upon a federal grant. We use that grant to do the business of our office. We then pass through those funds to our local partners. In fact, 10% of our annual grant is given to our local partners. And so in the current proposed budget, there would be 0 funds for the operation of our office or the pass-through to our local partners. As you can imagine, 0 is different than the amount that we generally anticipate. And so we are doing our best in working with our congressional delegation to change the budget so that we may have a budget. Unfortunately, the state of Idaho up till now has not funded the work of the State Historic Preservation Office. So it would be a big change to see funding come out of our legislature. So we are, maybe even this afternoon, going to release a request for assistance from our local partners, and that would include you, Mr. Mayor. We are going to ask our partners around the state to consider contacting the congressional delegation to express to them the value of the partnership that we have maintained, not just with Sandpoint or our 39 other local governments, but with hundreds of other partners in other parts of the historic preservation process. And we hope that between the outreach that we're doing and the outreach that we can rely on our partners to do, that the value of our office and our employees will be made clear, and that that value will be reflected in a change to the budget that will be approved for FY26 by the Congress. So we're cautiously optimistic that that our relationships that we've built over decades will be strong enough to support that effort. And we're hopeful, Mayor, that we can rely on the city of Sandpoint to add to that chorus of support.
Thank you. Yes, we're 100% supportive. I'm seeing this, we're seeing this at the state level with all federal funding for block grant programs. I mentioned I sit on the Economic Advisory Council, $12 million basically up in the air. And of course, for sewer, water, infrastructure across the board. So I know there's a lot of communications happening, trying to make the Congress and the Senate understand the importance of this funding. So thanks for the clarity. That's very helpful.
I think we would appreciate, Mayor, just knowing who our best contact at the city of Sandpoint would be. And I think Alexis has your direct email, but maybe I think it's Jason that we've also been contacting. Who's our best point on this? And if it's you, that's great. If it's somebody else, we would like to know a name and a contact.
Yeah, Jason's a planning and community development director, so oversees land use, zoning, planning, development, and you can always email me. I check my email hourly.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for that.
Well, great. Well, we hope for the best for everyone as far as this goes. Is there anything we can do in the meantime? Help from your office as far as getting things going?
For the application and this process.
Yeah, Alexis, if you could just, or maybe Jason already has it, but send myself and Jason any links or forms required for the funding opportunity that you mentioned.
Yes, absolutely, and I'll send Jason that, and then, we could also, over the next couple months, have communication back and forth on consultants to reach out, so we have an actual price of what they would be charging for something like this. And just to get a better idea of the numbers that we are looking at, I do want to remind everyone there is a match requirement with these grants. It does not have to be a cash match, while we always are happy to see the cities or the CLDs, provide a cash match. This can be done in kind. So that's something that we can communicate about as well, if there's gonna be anything in the budget to put towards this, or how we could figure those numbers out, but I'll work with Jason and send him all of that information.
Thanks.
And then
So-
lastly, Madam Chair, before we move on from this topic, if we can provide additional information regarding templated ordinance that would assist the city of Sandpoint as you're looking to draft and adopt an ordinance that would then be in place, hopefully prior to a grant application in the coming grant cycle. We're happy to do that. There are partners, not just here in Idaho, but elsewhere around the country that have done this, many of them, in fact. So it's easy for us to find you some templated ordinance to reduce the staff load as you're trying to craft something specific to Sandpoint. There's no reason why you need to reinvent the wheel. You might want to tinker with the wheel a little bit, but that's to be expected. So we're happy to provide that as well to give you the best leg up as you work towards that particular goal. And then Madam Chair, as you asked, is there anything else that we can do? I would suggest that in addition to the mayor or the mayor and council's support through this congressional budgeting process, the voice of individual citizens is also valued and valuable. And so we would welcome support, whether you have an official letterhead or you're just a voter. It would be useful to have your support and have you weigh in on that. And I think we probably have your direct contact, Madam Chair, but if we don't have that, perhaps you could just provide us with that right now.
Okay, Alexis does have that.
Okay, great. Well, then, there we go. That's something else you can do.
Great.
Add your voice to the chorus.
Very good. All right, is there any suggestions you have for the commission members themselves to help city staff with the ordinance, other than showing up at council meetings, anything like that? I just feel like we want to be there for staff and the council people to be supportive of this endeavor going forward.
Yeah, I mean this in the nicest possible way. I think this is going to be an effort that's going to have to be led by staff and mayor and council. It's not that you can't be advocating internally for it, but I don't, the mayor can correct me here, I don't imagine the task of drafting ordinance language is going to be delegated to the commission. So I imagine it's going to be staff working with the mayor, the council, and then as that begins to make its way through the administrative review process, that you as a chair and individual commission members could begin offering whatever level of support is acceptable. And I assume that there would be that point in the process. I just don't know how early that's going to work. I assume it's going to come first in a draft process from staff.
All right.
Yeah, I think this, Jeremy, the biggest thing that we're gonna face is an educational component. I mean, imagine this as we move this forward through planning commission to the council. We're gonna probably need this commission to help both get the word out, educate. I imagine, you know, looking at resistance to creating a district, there's gonna be folks who don't understand the regulatory limitations, restrictions. There's gonna be hearsay. There's certainly gonna be Facebook posts saying that, you know, this is a private property grab. So I think, you know, we need to just be prepared to educate and speak in support of this once it gets to planning commission. So
All right,
I think that's gonna be a huge component. Maybe even doing coffee or, you know, even visiting the property owners, so.
right. That sounds great. All right, is there any other questions for Alexis or Dan?
With the money match, can we use Sarah funds if we're doing art downtown with that?
Likely, as long as it's, but in the budget this year, we are in a situation where we do have, because of the higher than expected interest rates, we do have one-time money. So it's not, the next year is gonna be really thin.
Yeah.
But we do have one-time money for, you know, a match.
Okay.
Okay,
And just so the commission knows, we are currently expanding the planning department. We have a open job announcement for associate planner that will bring a third planner into the planning department. And the goal of that is to free up Bill Dean, who's our most experienced planner, so he can do this long-range code revision planning work. And this new associate planner, along with Katie Keeney, would be doing what we call the current planning, which is the review of the development. So that's the big hitch right now, is that we don't have the capacity because Bill is responding to just current planning. So we need to free him up so he can start working on the zoning and historic districts and things like that.
excellent. All right, well, if there's nothing else from the commissioners, thank you so much, Alexis and Dan. You've always been so very helpful, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you. We're gonna jump off. We have another meeting to get to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.
All right,
Staying in Boise.
yeah. And they did have another meeting to get to at 9, so. All right, well, do we have any discussion then amongst ourselves that we haven't covered on this topic? Thank you, Mayor, for the additional information.
Yeah,
Good to
and-
hear that we're gonna have more staff.
Yes, it's just a challenge at the federal and the state level.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lumpy, as we can see, a very glitchy year, I think.
Yeah.
To know what's happening, but
So are we on track to still be moving forward even without that grant funding?
oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, well, the grant funding is just gonna be additive, basically it helps
Okay.
offset the cost, but I mean, as soon as we get the associate planner and Bill can start working, the council has directed us to work on the downtown zoning first and foremost, and part of that, very big part of that is the historic district. So as soon as we get this new planner hired and trained, we will be off to the races, so
excellent.
I'm super excited. This will be I think the first time since maybe 2011 or 12, 13, that we've had this much horsepower in the planning department.
Great,
So hopefully that'll play out and result in some good. And then we're gonna jump into the residential zoning, ADUs, design guidelines,
excellent.
all sorts of good stuff. So sorry, it takes a lot of time
Absolutely.
to move.
Was there any other questions for the mayor? Okay, all right, let's move on then. Next up then is the update on the historic walking tour brochure. Barry and Will and I took photos and I'm wrapping up the final edits, so we're working on that. Any questions on that? Okay. Number 5, the Preservation Idaho Orchids and Onions 2025 update. So Barry and I have been in contact with Reed Weber, the architect. I have also been in contact with the two owners, Steyer and Snedden of the property at 318 and 320 North Second Avenue. And so I would love to get you guys' approval to go ahead with that nomination for an orchid. I've got Carrie Logan on board, I've got Steve Garvin on board. We'll do the nomination just like we did last year for the Bellwood building. We'll compile all the information, I'll make it into a beautiful packet, and then we'll submit it. The deadline is June 16th. And
You
like
need
I
a
said,
motion?
everybody's on board. Yep, let's have a motion to,
I
for-
move we move forward for the Orchids and Onion award for the Stiers Nedden building.
very good. Is there a second? Very seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard, motion passes. Great, thank you. We will get moving on that. All right, onward to culture, summer walking tour planning. What I thought we would do maybe is have Michael Bigley give everyone who is available a tour that he gives so that we can have an idea of his style, and then maybe we can get a couple of more of us on board who will train with him and maybe do 1 or 2 additional walking tours this summer.
And he is busy till after Memorial Weekend. 'cause we have a
Exactly.
Performance, so.
Okay, very good, very good. I know you have the ins on that. All right, so that is just an update. Let's move on then to the arts. So number 7, Big Belly Monster Art Program. That was kind of on hold while we are getting our silver box situated. So I was gonna ask you if you thought if the June meeting is has not a lot of agenda items, maybe we can put the Big Belly selection panel on the June regular meeting. I don't know that we need a special meeting for that, but if our agenda is light, then we'll go ahead and do that. I don't think we need a vote for that. We'll just plan on doing that. So onward to the Spring Silver Box Project. I think I told you last time that the current art will come off the boxes on May 23rd. And actually, Dave Gonzo's piece will come off on May 27th due to scheduling conflicts. I wanted to make sure that we waited till after Lost in the 50s to take that off. Yeah. Then the current call that we have open closes May 16th. And it sounds like, I know there's at least, I know of at least 2 artists that are going to resubmit, which is going to be lovely. But we have scheduling that we need to do for the special selection meeting. And I've been working with staff to figure out a day. Did anyone Cami contact you about a specific day next week or the week after?
No.
Okay, so my ask for you guys is I'm gonna need 5 of us for a special meeting. We don't know exactly what day, but it will be after the call closes. So it would be Monday, possibly Monday. Or maybe the week after, yeah.
June 1st.
No, it has to be before June 1st because the council meeting is June 4th. So we need about a week to get it ready to go to council, because that's our goal, is to present it at council on the 4th. So that we can get them up on the boxes by the end of June. So I guess I will get with Amber, who I've been in contact with as well, and find out what day next week she'll be available, and when we have a clerk, and if anybody can show up. So I need you for an hour. So as soon as I know, I'll let you know, and hopefully we can get that scheduled. When
Yeah,
the-
I
we-
can do it.
Okay, great. All right, excellent, thank you. All right. Very good, okay, well then I'll let you know when that is,
Except for Monday.
except for Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
I'll be in Palmer.
okay. So the plan is Cammy is not available next week for most of the week, so we may have another clerk. But we'll get those details figured out and we'll make it happen. Thank you, I appreciate that. We're kind of pushing the timeline, but we want to get them up before summer, so. All right. Is there any other questions on that? We'll be doing it with the ranked voting like we did. So what was the last one we did with ranked voting?
Wasn't it the merry-go-round?
Yes, no,
Or the-
no, it wasn't the merry-go-round. It was one after. Oh dang, sorry.
That's it.
I'm getting a blank. But anyway, it will be ranked very, we'll have we'll pick our favorites and then we'll pick alternates, so it'll be good. All right, is there any other questions on that? All right, well, okay, the next up was the public art inventory and plan. Again, I asked you guys to think about that. Carol Diener's not here. I wanted her input. Since she's not here, we're not gonna have, we'll just kind of, put that to the side. But be thinking about that. I wanna really, have an in-depth discussion. Maybe that will be at our July meeting. All right, moving on then to the city parking lot. We have an update. We have a ribbon cutting
Yes,
today.
ribbon cutting in 58 minutes down there. We are still a little delay on the light post. They'll be coming in the next 2 weeks. The electricals all run and conduit. The light post will have a new, we have 4 smart cameras I might have mentioned in the city that help us, the police manage crime. In fact, that's how we helped us catch the arsonist. They identify cars, gates, clothing, facial features, and they can search hours and hundreds of hours of video by just saying, look for male in white shirt walking with a limp, and it'll
Wow.
find all the video. It's impressive and it's a little creepy, but it's super, super helpful. And if you're in the public realm, today's world, you can expect someone's video. But anyways, cameras are coming, light posts are coming. The other element that's not there yet is this community calendar. We haven't picked the technology or the vendor yet. That will go in the southwest corner. You'll see there's some striping near the handicap space, and looking at a fairly good size. They're probably 36 inches by 4 or 5 feet, and I don't like the real bright ones, but they make one that has like a digital paper. If you've seen that,
Oh,
it's just a real low light. It's not flashy. It's just text. So the intent there is to put committee and commission agendas, calendar, city events, civic happenings, just another way to outreach and engage the community. There will likely be an opportunity for some kind of art or color on that. I don't know if it's a wrap or, again, we haven't picked the actual unit yet, but we'll keep you engaged
Okay.
with your input, and Sarah will be funding that. But yeah, there's a couple trees that we're gonna plant, additional trees. You'll see some empty islands there for Arbor Day celebration. And right now we can't use it for a few more days because the concrete is curing. The most notable thing is the north and south entrances on Church and Oak have been removed to enhance safety because of all the bike paths and joels and crossings. Next year, it's likely we'll implement some paid parking down there, which is really exciting, part of a larger parking policy the council's discussing that potentially will provide revenue for the downtown district for, it's unencumbered revenue. So maintenance, repair, funding a future parking garage, spot bus, public art, sidewalk cleaning, baskets, who knows? That's pretty much the summary. If you have any other bright ideas, they did stripe it and paint it, but you think something needs to be enhanced to add to the visual aspect of it or performance or whatever it is, please give it some thought and open to considerations.
Are you working with TOP for the community calendar? The
Uh,
Sandpoint online?
we're not that far. We still need to.
Because everybody goes there. We tried to set up I was asked to, as the chamber, to set up a community calendar. And I said, why would I do that? Because
Right.
Keoki has everything.
Right.
And so that's sort of become the de facto community calendar.
That's where I go.
Yeah, right. So hopefully you can work with him and.
Yeah.
Well, I will just say I was down there the other day. The parking lot looks great. It
Yes,
looks
it looks good.
amazing. Thank you for saving the trees.
Yeah.
And,
Tree commission.
yep.
No, it goes back to this, word, sometimes actions are louder than words, and to show the care and maintenance and upkeep of our facilities speaks loudly to, what we believe in. So yeah, hopefully it'll last us a long time until we have a parking garage, and hopefully people can get used to the new configuration.
That's gonna be the hardest part for me. I use it every Saturday when I'm working downtown, and I'll probably try and turn in by Joel's there. To be,
Don't hurt your car.
don't hurt my car. Yeah, my car's low, so anyway, so yeah, congratulations, and I'll probably pop down to the ribbon cutting. That sounds great. All right, was there any questions on the parking lot for Mr. Mayor? All right, well, then let's get on to some general commission business. Before we started, the mayor brought up the Live 7B banners that were up around town for the week of the giving. And indicated that maybe that's something that we can do as our commission,
Definitely.
Yeah.
seasonally, or
It goes back to, I think Kate was the brainchild behind this when we started that first Coachella Summit. But if you're here in 2010, maybe.
Yeah.
We lined like all of someone lined all of Fifth and downtown, Coachella Mobile Summit. It was really impressive.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that there's some friction with the state about what's a flag and what we can put up, I
Oh.
believe these would be pennants.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
But I was thinking, how amazing would it be to dress up our downtown with seasonal pennants, whether it's a spring, a summer, maybe it's just a winter and a summer, I don't know, but a call for art for a nice little art design. I don't know how long they last. I assume they last a few years. We have the Parks Department, put them up and take them down maybe once or twice a year, but just a real nice
Yeah, they're great.
amenity that would dress up the look and feel of town. So I'd love to see you do a call for art for what those are. Sandpoint, I don't know if it's a sunrise or a tulip or,
Yeah.
but yeah, please run with that
I've begged for the flag, little
extension
things
thing. Yeah,
forever.
yeah.
Yeah, we need to use them. I
We don't-
forgot
we
that they
don't-
were.
they're all
even
there.
there.
Don't-
They put those up, I'm like,
It's like, what an opportunity.
yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Do you recall who was in charge of the 7B flags? I could get in contact with them,
Dick.
and,
I,
Is
I-
it
yeah,
Big Prisoner, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I asked Jason how that happened because I had mentioned, yeah, let's use them. And all of a sudden they showed up. I
Nice.
assume we need a process for approving them. So
Yeah.
if a controversial group is going to put up an
Yeah.
unfriendly
Yes.
message, we would
Right.
need a protocol to say why we're denying them. But
Yeah,
Right.
and I think it was through a Novia too, they were.
Oh, yeah. okay.
But if I'll put some money in the budget this year for those. And on a related note, Councilwoman Duquette has asked that I try to find money in the budget for a welcome to Sandpoint sign coming from the west.
Oh,
And I'll be doing that. Obviously, signs, as you all know, can go from 150 to 150,000.
yeah.
So depending on what the budget's looking like, we need your assistance to help design or give feedback on I mean, if it were a big monument sign, welcome to Sandpoint, that would be pretty cool. I don't know if it's blue, carrying on the blue theme or what, but, kind of give some thinking to that,
Okay.
something.
Oh, and on a related note to that, Councilwoman Duquette was instigated the new recycling program as well. And I was going to say there was some design that went into those containers as well. So be looking for those downtown, nice, beautiful blue containers that the Kalispell.
Yeah, the metal.
Ironworks, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that,
They're for, I think, cans and bottles.
yeah,
Do we
excellent.
really recycle?
Councilwoman Duquette is going to empty them herself as long as she
I was
can.
gonna say, I don't, okay, cool,
Yeah.
This was her thing, so I said, let me feed your giraffe, so.
perfect.
All right. Is there anything else that we want to talk about
I
under
was
the
just curious,
general?
I was really sad I missed the Canada's Friday Night Gala. How did it go?
It was great.
Because
It was great.
Canada's obviously do performing.
Yeah, I was out of
Good.
town as well, so I was
was
sad I
good.
missed it. Good.
Yeah, there were probably 150 people
Oh,
there.
okay.
So I just think that being the first one, people are kind of, and the lineup needs to change a bit. I think they need to put the auction at the end, but
Yes,
yeah, so it was good. Yeah,
awesome,
I was co-MC and it was great
great.
for their first one. It was really nice. And Marilyn Sabella and Carol Diener and, all those people, we honored them that night.
Oh,
too,
very
the
good.
moms. And it'll be every year, the Friday before Mother's Day. So
Oh,
the
okay.
mom's theme will
Oh,
go through it.
okay.
Yeah, it was really good.
Very
It
good.
was good.
All right. Okay, anything else then? I think, oh, the other thing that's coming up this weekend, of course, is Lost in the 50s. Don't forget about that. Start of the summer season. It'll be interesting to see how things go.
See if we get any Canadians down this year.
Yeah.
I got an invite up to Canada. Very nice of them. They invited me up to an event.
In Nelson?
Not Nelson, I think it was either Cranbrook or Creston, I forget which, but, it's a festival, a flower and
Nice.
spring festival.
It would be great to do something with the Nelson thing. I mean, I set that
Yeah.
up and Shelby was gonna do
Yeah.
something with it.
I've had some very nice correspondence back and forth with our friends in Canada.
Good.
They are not gonna be traveling here, but, I wrote them back, a friendly note and they appreciated that.
Yeah.
So,
And lastly, Artworks had their 30th anniversary this past weekend. It was wildly successful. They had a art demo going on both Saturday and Sunday. And a ton of art giveaways as well too. We saw a number of people came into the restaurant on Sunday with wrapped paintings, pictures, sculptures, all that good stuff. So
Good.
you guys do get a chance to go by or you know any of the artists there.
Yeah.
Say thank you for everything they've done. You guys are awesome.
I like that place.
Very good.
And also just a note, so we will be hearing, mid-June on, the waterway improvement grant for the beach parking lot. If that is, awarded, it's a huge ask. I think it's like $1 million. If that is awarded, there will be, and that's in the revenue allocation area for Sura. We'll be basically redoing the city beach parking lot. So, we'll let you know if we get that, and if so, you might want to be thinking about, is that a location for some of your Sura art funding for something a little more prominent?
Well, I definitely think City Beach is a prime location. For many years we were kind of put off doing anything even down there because of all the planning. So now that we know that we hopefully will get a new parking lot and maybe some upgrades. Is the RV park still being upgraded?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's the goal, is the two of them. That RV park is
Excellent.
was originally slated in some of the concepts as a boat trailer parking. But if you look at the revenue, that thing, other than the mortgage, that thing kicks off a tremendous amount of money for our parks. So I think we'll try to keep that as a revenue generator.
Excellent.
But yeah, I think there'll be opportunities down there.
Great.
And obviously, we've all been to parks, whether it's Millennial Park in Chicago or Riverfront
Mhm.
down in, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you guys could do something
We
really
get a
cool
bean.
down there.
I don't know.
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
The
Sounds
bean's
great.
wonderful.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you for that information. Was there any other comments? All right,
I just say thanks so much. You are the most efficient and organized group that we have. I cannot thank Ellie enough. I know you've been through some turbulence this year, but thank you. You do a great job and you're always precise and you get it done. So hats
No
off to
open
you.
meeting violations were awesome.
that's right. Thank you. Thank you all. All right, well, hopefully I will see you next week then at some point. I'll let you know, and we're adjourned. Thank you.
John wants you to purchase.
Yeah, I'll make